MAWPCAST 1 is brought to you by T-Town MMA. Hey, here's a little disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed in this podcast do not necessarily reflect those of the MAWP organization. And there are some themes and subject matter that may not be suitable for all audiences, so viewer discretion is advised. If they're recording, if Vader's out there killing kids, then the redeeming him is going to take a whole lot to redeem.
It is. I agree with that.
But
yes.
if someone's out there killing to save lives, for instance, which just does exist, then still you're going to have that karmic weight of killing, but you're killing for a good reason.
Yes.
So you get a much easier chance to be redeemed than, say, Vader.
Yeah.
So just killing the Emperor, it does prevent a whole lot of evil from continuing to happen, and it is pivotal at that moment to kill him at that moment to prevent it all from going evil forever. So, but nonetheless, good always no matter what, there's seeds of good planted in things. There's seeds of good in it. So, no matter how evil it gets, you can't stamp out the good forever. And it will rise up and overthrow or undermine whatever evil is there. It just always happens. It's going to happen here now in our world. It's going to play out. These cycles always play out. Right. It's kind of nature. There's something in nature. And that is what, in essence, the Force is trying to tell us that in those movies is that, and you could look at it in the grand cosmic scale of things, dude, is that we're here in the universe. We exist. We're conscious. So we're produced by the universe. A universe, the thing that exists out here, produced a thing that has consciousness. Yes. Whether it wanted to or not, it did it.
Yeah.
And whether that thing out there is God or not, it doesn't matter. We're here. We're doing it, and something exists. So, and so it seems like then nature will correct itself. If things go wrong, it's going to say,
Well, it's a balance.
Yeah.
It's got to stay balanced, or else it goes away.
Balance might be the wrong way of looking at it, because that, says, oh, then people need to go and be fucked up.
Well, it just teeters. It
can be balanced harmoniously with good. Like good things. You can have good on both sides of that scale. It doesn't have to be good versus evil. It could be like a balance of good, logically good and rationally good and practically good and sensibly good and all kinds of things that are balancing that out in good ways and not no, we need a Vader to come along once in a while so we know how to be good. No, no, that's not it.
I guess you do have a strong point there.
It's like I'm saying, because when you create these paradigms, right, like that, it's like I say all the time, violence doesn't solve anything. They say that, but it stops Hitler. But so stop creating fucking Hitlers. That's the thing. So we go back to the root of things, and what's the root of things is that we create these things. Humanity, society creates these things by dividing things up and owning things and then doling it out to different people, and then these people going, that's not fucking fair.
Yeah.
I should be able to just drink water. I shouldn't have to pay for it. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden I gotta be Hitler.
Yeah.
Welcome to the MAWPCAST.
Welcome.
We're your hosts. Stupid thing.
What is going on with that damn thing? That camera's cursed.
Maybe, just maybe, the SD card that you brought, maybe there's a problem with it.
But that was just a download.
Oh yeah, that's the same SD card. It's not your SD card. So that has nothing to do with you. It's broke.
Damn.
I was hoping that would be a simpler problem. Or maybe there's just something I don't understand.
Will there be a way to record with your laptop camera?
No, that's a big problem, actually.
Did it turn off?
It did turn off. Again, it just stopped. It stopped recording for whatever reason. Maybe it's set to record only an increment of time. I don't know. My laptop camera's broke. That's why we're not broadcasting live to the internet and streaming both the audio and the video to one source that I can edit that way. Because if I could do that, then everything would be so much simpler. I wouldn't have to merge the audio and video every time. Like it would already be done for me. It would be done onto Twitch or YouTube Live, and then I could take that video and edit it down.
Well, could you get a USB type camera?
No. It won't work. Nothing works. It doesn't recognize any cameras. Can't find any drivers to make it recognize any cameras. I don't know enough about it. And realistically, it's starting to have other problems too. It won't stay on. You know, it's right. Like I could get a new battery, but the battery isn't going to solve my camera issues. So I need a different computer with a functioning video, and then we'll look a little more professional. It'll be an illusion. It'll largely be an illusion.
Yes.
Well, we were trying to have our video. We're not probably going to have video. I'm just assuming that it's not going to work, that it's going to beep again and tell us no video. It's stuck at 6 seconds right now. It just stopped at 6 seconds. It hasn't beeped yet, but it stopped.
Weird. Yeah. That blue light's flashing.
Well, I turned the blue light on. The blue light, I think, was searching for internet or something.
So it's stuck on 6 second increments? Oh, now it's in self-destruct mode.
Should I throw it?
I don't know. Is there a way to disarm it? Is there a blue wire? Don't cut the red one.
Ah!
Oh, shit.
Maybe there's a fire.
I ain't cooking.
Okay.
You saved us.
Oh. Fuck the camera. Oh. Huh. Well.
There you go. Now turn it into a smoke detector.
That was stressful. I'm going to set that over here.
So, yeah.
Well, thanks for the adapter.
Just in time for you to give it back.
Yeah, we were trying to have video back today. We'll probably not. We'll see. But the show will go on because this is not a video show. We're not a show about video. We're not narcissists. We don't need to be seen.
No.
We'll try to put this camera on.
I mean, video killed the radio star, so we got to...
yeah.
Hey.
I think about this when I put the songs packages together there in the midst of the show, is that video can be distracting. And so I just took a solid image there. And like, you know, when you were a kid and I was a kid, we would have a record and we would just have a picture to look at. Maybe one picture. Maybe. Sometimes the band didn't put a picture on their records. Sometimes it was just art. Sometimes, you know, the more lame it was, the more lame it was. Because you didn't have nothing to look at. Man, the more that they gave you in a record to look at, the better. Because, you know, when you're out there in the woods as a little kid, which some people are, stuck in the woods. There's some kids stuck out in the woods, and all they have is, like, your record.
I know.
Just so imagine if you're, like, 12 years old, and all you have is one dude's record. And that's it. Yep. And that's your influence. And you love that record. And all it is, like, brown paper, like, cover. It's like, oh, it's probably going to give him a one-dimensional outlook on your... A one-dimensional outlook on your...
Yep, if you have unicorns on that bad boy...
That's right. All you need is to add a couple of unicorns. Some sparkles. Throw little sparkles on there.
Yeah.
Some liner notes saying how cool you are or things are around you. Stuff like that. Little bit of... a
little bit of glitter.
Yep. A little bit of stuff like that goes a long way. I've got a few ideas for some songs. I've not quite outlined a whole day's worth of stuff. But I know that we'll probably play like a that song by James Honeycutt we were talking about. And
any holiday songs?
Holiday songs. Don't think I have any local holiday songs that I can think of.
I know. I was trying to figure out. I was thinking the other day as I was driving around, I was like going, man, everybody's all upset about, can't say this, can't say that, can't say this. You know what I say? Happy whatever the fuck doesn't offend you.
Yeah. Well,
jingle, jingle, jingle.
Being offended is a funny thing, especially like in my immediate peer group, because so many people I know are so punk or so I don't know, whatever they are, but yet they're so easily offended at the same time. And it's like I don't even know what to say.
I know. I laugh at those people too.
Okay.
You're just like, really? Weren't you just on stage all saying how much you're a badass and you're going to stab and cut people's necks off? But, this person says that they don't really care for your guitar playing. You're all crying now. What's going on here?
Well, see, with this, if I had this set up, this little stupid thing, maybe I could do some sort of streaming. But I don't. We might have a little video going. Are you filming me?
Yeah, this is proof that we're doing this thing here.
I've got a little there too, so this will actually be great because I can practice some editing.
Oh, I ain't gotta keep this going. I ain't gotta be able to hold this.
No, I know, but that it'll just be one segment and you can send me that footage later.
All right.
Yep, because I've got footage
doing a
going
podcast.
Hello.
Oh, I already turned it off. Damn it.
All right.
Well,
our super nice, mellow, relaxing day got a little haywire, but it's all good. Everything's good. The world is good. Life is fine. How's things going? You went some
Metallica. One person watched that video I just did.
Oh, that was this live video?
So somebody was yeah. All right. See, we're doing this podcast, MAWP. This is where we're at. It's just a little clip. It's online. I'll have to put all that stuff on my Facebook, how you can watch it. So, yeah, this is what I do on Monday morning.
Links in the descriptions down below. That's what they say.
Yeah.
That's what the kids say.
Read those. Haha. See you later. Hey, there's my brother and Steve. Hey.
Sweet.
What's up, guys?
It's that quick.
Yeah.
That's how you become a celebrity and you advertise yourself on the internet.
I know. Rock stars already. Hey, there's Mark. Hey, Mike. Cool.
How's it going?
Yeah, there's Josh. See you later. That's weird. This is like, this is happening too fast. I don't know what's going on.
This is why we don't do this.
This is why
we don't exactly do this. Why. We will.
And I got to stop before I end up swearing because I might end up saying something. I'll end up swearing. So we'll see you soon. Toodles.
Bye, guys. That was a lot of pressure.
I know. There was a lot of people just bouncing up watching. All right.
And we had weed and bong out and stuff, and I don't know if that's cool on Facebook or not.
Well,
we'll find out. This is a good test.
I'm keeping it. Yeah, we'll find out. If I get kicked off Facebook for a couple days, so we'll know.
Yeah. And this is stuff that we can experiment with more because when we're doing it live, we can do Facebook Live, Instagram Live, YouTube Live, Twitch Live, all simultaneously. Yes. And that each one of those has its own potential audience because some people only use one of those services. Like fuck Facebook.
Yeah,
but,
I know. I only use Facebook. I don't have a Twitter or none of the other stuff.
Everything's set up for MAWP, so we can once we do get all this going, then we start making these things. They're on every platform. You put them, host them on Twitter and other things. Also, just gives more avenues for people. Because again, it's like think back to in the days of music when we were young. We had music. We had CDs and cassettes and records. And, you know, some people, I like records. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
You know,
I always like records.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
But some people were like, well, I like records, but I'm going to record my records onto a tape and take my tapes. And then tapes went out of vogue, and then it was CDs that did that. But
the only reason I put them to tape was so I could have them mobile.
Yeah. That's exactly why. Yeah, because you can't take a record player with you.
I mean, there was those one Cadillacs that did have record players in them, but I don't know how well they would tend to the potholes that we have around here. It just wouldn't. I don't think it would work.
You'd have to drive very carefully in certain places.
I have to drive really careful.
Well,
what kind of music we got today?
We're going to hear that James Honeycutt song first.
Nice.
And then some Prophets of Addiction. And we've got a lot of stuff on the horizon. Slow computer. It's not going. Yeah. I guess.
That's better than being super fast, so you can't understand anything, and it all goes haywire and catches on fire. So yeah.
All right, well, let's just jump into some things and see where it goes.
All right.
Just how far can it go before we reach the point past right and wrong to a place where we no longer know, where the lines were drawn from love to hate, by heaven or by hell? Please God, just look the other way. Torn apart, forever unfulfilled, fierce and swift the moving for a kill. Just look the other way. Please, just one last kiss. I gave you my heart and my soul. I'll hold you in loving bliss, so that you might never turn away. Please, just one more kiss. Oh God, just look the other way. Just look the other way.
I pull my long black hair back. I want my life to come back. My golden shades are focused and true. I'll sell my soul for you. I'll set my heart sights on you, or leave it all behind me, written down on a blood-stained script. Spare the bullets for today. Spare the bullets and get out of my fucking police, there's no way I'll let you near. You should spare the bullets, there's no way out of here. You should spare the bullets, there's no way I'll let you near.
I must say that I'm always in favor of enlarging the horizons, at least in peering anxiously beyond the horizons of any field of human endeavor or interest. And therefore I congratulate you on your farsightedness. And as for your music, don't ever do it around here again.
we're back. After hearing some songs, we heard Goon. I need my glasses to know what the name of the song is because I can't read it from here. Dusk Collector.
Dust Collector.
Goon plays right up the road there at the old Valley.
Oh, the Valley. All right.
Yeah. Among other places, I'm sure. And we heard Ride by June, Spare the Bullets by Prophets of Addiction, and One Last Kiss by James Honeycutt.
Yeah, very cool.
And I guess if you're listening to the show this very week that it's coming out, you could probably catch James Honeycutt in Luke's Wall.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Nice.
I think they're playing at the Plaid Pig with CFA.
It's on a Friday or Saturday, right?
Oh, I'm sure. It's on a night you work, Chris.
I know. That's a lame thing. But I got some good stuff coming up anyways. You know, Andrew Landers, he's awesome. Got him Friday.
Yeah. If I were in a band, I would mostly play on nights you work.
Yep.
Because that would be the most obvious nights to play where the most people would be going out to see shows.
Yes. That's the only drawback.
Yeah. So, you went and saw Metallica.
Yes, I went and saw Metallica and down in Portland. It was kind of cool, kind of weird. I don't know, because I really didn't care for Portland. It's just a lot of one-way streets, paid parking literally everywhere. Mm-hmm. Everywhere was paid parking. And it's just, there's a lot of tap rooms, a couple record stores, but other than that, it's just really not much to do down there. But Metallica was good, except for that left kick drum, and they need a little bit more highs in the vocals.
Yeah.
But that may have just been where I was at, that I was hearing that, but I don't know.
It's possible. Any number of things are possible.
Yes.
But it's good. It's good that it's like that. Because you had talked about things not being perfect before. Mm-hmm. Like I think last week you were talking about music not you going to live to see things not necessarily be just like the record. So well, there you go. And sometimes that's the way that's exactly you got it.
Yep. You know, it's cool. I was thinking that I was going to go in there and they were just going to play nothing but a bunch of songs I didn't want to hear.
Yeah.
But it was actually quite the opposite.
Is that right?
They played a couple of the songs that I really didn't care for. I wasn't even familiar with at all. But they played a ton of stuff from the old school stuff. And It was really cool.
That's great. If there is a mix like you just said, which makes sense, then some of that newer stuff is totally listenable. Like it's just like going to see any band with playing a couple new songs. It's like, not as much into the newer songs, but we'll see how they age. And I'll tell you, some songs and some bands, they age good and don't. Like, I'll tell you, a lot of Rolling Stones material, when it's released, I don't care for, but I can like give it 10 or 20 years. And actually it's not that bad. But when it comes out, it's like, what are they doing? Why are they still making records? You know. But again, you know, and I'm not saying that's universally true with them or everyone, because it's not. Because some of it is, why are they still making records? But some of it's neat. It's and I can point to little things. It's like, wow, they did that. They did that at that age. That's really neat. And I can be very critical of Metallica and Lars in particular. But
Lars especially.
But there are Led Zeppelin, you know, our Black Sabbath. They're that generation's big thing.
Yeah, and I was it was kind of cool because they were the only band playing.
Oh,
so it was just them.
Nice.
It was right in the middle of the Coliseum.
Okay.
So it's just a drum set with a bunch of microphones. So they're playing through probably digital stuff or whatever under the stage, probably amps and stuff. And the Jim Brewer, I don't know if you know him, that comedian.
Mm-hmm.
He came and he was up there, and oh god, he was awesome.
Yeah,
he was awesome. He was all talking shit about the band at the same time. It was funny.
So what, he was on stage with them?
Oh, he opened.
Opened for them.
Yeah, he was the
that's opening. Yeah, that's
comedian great. Opening. Yep.
Sweet.
Which was cool.
That is cool.
He even told the story about how Metallica wanted him to do a show, so he had to go to the airport. When he went to the airport, he was sitting on this plane, and he was all saying, "Well, why are we still here?" And they go, "Well, we're waiting for Ozzy." He goes, "Ozzy?" You go, "Well, yeah, this is Ozzy's plane." And they're going, "Holy shit, he's on Ozzy's plane, flying to go see Metallica
Nice.
with Ozzy."
Uh-huh.
So yeah, that'd be pretty cool. That's a cool story, I thought.
Yeah. Jim Brewer's pretty funny. He had some good moments.
Oh yeah.
And he loves the heavy metal.
Oh yeah, he was all singing some AC/DC and stuff like that. It was cool. He's good at it.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a big part of his act in the old days. I don't remember. I haven't seen him for a long time, but I know that he was very tapped into that vein of metal.
Yes. My next concert's going to be Iron Maiden in September.
Uh-huh.
That's going to be cool.
That will be. I don't know who's in that band at the moment. Steve Harris has got to be, right?
Steve Harris, Bruce Dickinson, and I'm not sure. I don't know if Ian's in there or not. I don't know.
Steve Harris is the only staple of the band.
Yeah. Well, he is Iron Maiden.
Yeah, I've heard his whole breakdown of how he runs the band like a team, like a soccer team, which I just think is it's a smart way to run a band like that, a franchise band that doesn't. It's like we don't need it. We don't need you. You know, this music and this iconography, all this stuff, it speaks for itself. It sells. It's gonna sell. It's gonna sell whether we're a band or not. Watch. And it does. And a good example also of that is the Misfits. And the Misfits sold millions more records after they were broke up than they ever did as a band. They really only had a couple of small, tiny records as a band, but after they were broke up, they were just marketed really well. And that's actually contrasting point I was making earlier about giving a person a lot to work with. Well, Misfits didn't, which left more to your imagination.
Yeah.
And so
they were just dark.
Well,
Black.
they were dark and sparse. There was minimal. It was they only gave you what they gave you, and they didn't elaborate on it too much. And again, they left so much to your imagination that if you were that kid out in the woods with 12 years old, you didn't know what you were listening to. It was like any other band. Like they could have been anything, and they could have been huge for all you know. And they were very influential, but they were largely influential because of stuff like that, because they were pumping out records. Those records were in our record stores. And I've had people say, well, they got popular because of Metallica. They got popular before Metallica. And those records were out. Like there was kind of, I don't know. They were out there. They're out there for us to buy, and we would buy them. And like guys like Ryan Anderson loved the Misfits, and he really turned a lot of people onto them. But they weren't just popular like in our circles. They were popular
all the way across the board. Oh,
Uh-huh.
yeah. I know they were the cool Kiss.
Yeah, they really were. They did those. They took all of what Kiss did, but stripped it down and did it really well. They could have even exploited it to the degree of Kiss if they really were aggressive.
Oh, if they really did.
But egos and it's a hard thing to do what they were doing. Like it's just they were loud and fast and intense, and it's hard to sustain loud, fast, intense.
Yep.
Like and I know because I tried for years and years, and boy, takes a lot out of All right. What else? What's going on?
All right. All sorts of stuff. Weather's all crazy.
I've enjoyed the weather. As much as it has been raining, it's been fun. I don't know why.
That's where my brother is. There's like 3 feet of snow, and it did 2 feet like in 2 days.
Wow.
Like in the Carolinas, one of the Carolina states.
Nutty.
Yeah, I was just like, what the hell? Have you ever heard of Sharky Waters?
Yes, I've heard of Sharky Waters.
Yeah.
I played them on the show a couple times. You loved them both times I played them.
And they're playing Saturday.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Dead Set, Sky Giants, and
I mentioned this to you.
Halcyon.
Yeah. Halcyon Halo.
Yeah.
Yep. I know what's going on sometimes.
Yeah.
No. I played them on the show, and every time I played them, you're like, who's this?
Oh, well, nice.
Like,
I'm excited then.
No, you are excited because you know what? Maybe I'll play some just so you'll get excited again because you enjoy the band a lot. Like every time I played them, you literally like you almost stopped the show with like you liking them that much.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, and Carl's a great guy too. So actually, I mean, when I really think about it, it's kind of weird that so if you've not met Carl Zook when this happens, I'll be surprised that your paths haven't crossed in life before. And I feel like that you'll get along really well. Like,
I probably have met him.
I mean,
I've met so many people. I can't remember names, and that's an ongoing thing with me. That the majority of the time when I meet people, they're in like groups of 5.
Yeah,
and
I
then
know.
it's like 3 groups of 5 or 4 or 5 groups of 5. So I can't remember. But if you have a cool guitar, I'll go, oh yeah, you had that exotic Babinga top with all this, blah 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 blah. And I'll be going, oh yeah.
He probably has a cool guitar. It sounds cool.
Right.
So you'll appreciate it.
Speaking of Tim, he's been riding his motorcycle around.
Oh yeah.
Yep, got a Harley.
Well, we were speaking of Tim in the off when we were listening to songs. So if anyone's listening to the podcast and you say "speaking of Tim," then it just sounds like we're talking shit about Tim. So I'm gonna have to I'm gonna have to backtrack. Oh, dude, you know how sensitive he can be. So let's just stop the train right there.
Tim could take it.
You want to think he can? I love Tim. So while we were listening to songs, and we were hearing the Prophets of Addiction song, and you were complimenting his singing and saying he had a distinctive voice that you appreciated, and I went on to say, there's a lot of people like him, Les Sanders, like Les Sanders and Tim Silvers, who is an anti-hero and has been in a lot of bands, just like Les, and Kevin Schultz, who is in Helter Skipper, who's been in a lot of bands. I referenced those 3 particular people as people who I really appreciate. And actually, when I was starting the show and Dave and I were first doing the show, I was saying, these are people I want to hear their whole life's work and be able to play on the show. Because there are moments in time where I wasn't present and not listening to their bands or getting to appreciate them for whatever reason. I was doing my own things and not always listening to everything. And I got to see them at certain shows or something like that. But now I can just sit and absorb all of this stuff in a nice way and present it to other people to appreciate too. And again, these are people who I would love to be able to, like, I got to play Queenie Blast pop song on a very good quality, but a few shows back, and that's great, dude, because they had some great songs. And there's other bands like that we still haven't played. Tramp Alley and Talks Cheap. We've not played either of those bands yet.
We've
not played the Rhino Humpers. We've not played Sedated Souls. We've not played Mr. Grinch. We've not played Metamorphosis yet. We've not played Before Christ, or Lithius, or 8 Days Clean, or a bunch of other bands, so many different bands that we've not touched on yet, just like in certain veins, which we should like stop right now, get a bunch of those songs and play them all right now. We can't play all of them right now, and we can't play all of those songs. But
we
play some
will
of them.
get to all of those bands.
Yep.
That will happen.
Yep, and there's a lot that we could play right now. All right, well, let's play something else.
All right.
I'm not even gonna look. Let's see what it is. Well, let's see.
Yeah. There you go.
Going to Nepal as soon as I land. I'm never coming back, and that's a fucking fact. The hardcore scene now, that's what I mean. I hope they have some good ass cream. This is a gun to the core. I don't want no gentle core. It's Godzilla, barbecue chicken, your nuts could be crazy. Jim's a bull sack, people take off for three. This clothes raise your hands, rolling boys, bad vultures. SS, give life, keeping our core alive. Your guns are the breakdown, you feel it right to the ground. Coming from the water, it's on the board, it's getting harder. Coming from the fucking sea, you hate it, you're a fucking me. Every bitch you don't know. This is the gun to the core. I don't like no metalcore. It's Godzilla, barbecue chicken, your nuts could be crazy. Just a bull sack, people take love for three. Disclose, raise your hands, go like boys, bad vultures. SS, give life, give it our core alive. Japan fucking keeps it hard, empty this fucking recharge. I wanna see some traction, about your fucking heads in. American bands, such a board, and a bunch of media fucking whores. This is the gun to the core, what the fuck is crap for really? It's Godzilla, barbecue chicken, your nuts could be crazy. Jim's a bull sack, people take bar for three. Disclose, raise your hand, go like boys, bad vultures. SS, give life, give it our core alive.
So I derailed whatever was happening because you put me on the spot there and started talking shit about Tim. We don't want Tim.
Oh, Tim could take it. Ego big. He's riding around chapless.
Wind
with
blowing
chaps.
back his hair.
Yeah, wind blowing his hair back. Oh, yeah.
Breeze bird. He may have got more plugs on the show than anyone yet.
Yeah, we're going to have to... We will focus on creating little Easter eggs within our podcast.
I actually have thought about doing this, and then later on having quizzes or Easter egg hunts.
Easter egg hunts.
That win something. If you can solve these different puzzles or different things. But this will be over a long scope of time.
All right.
And we can even go back and retroactively say, okay, for instance, there's more than one Pokemon thing in this room right now, like around us, and you may not know that, but there's a bunch of them, and sometimes there's more and sometimes there's less. And
I wouldn't know.
You might not, and you wouldn't know it by looking at me, but I just happen to love Pokemon for some reason. I just got into it recently, not very recently, but
I don't have enough room on my phone to do it. So.
Yeah. See, now, you know that I played some games like Pokemon in the last 20 years.
Oh, yeah.
With the advent of internet. Well, it all started with the game Final Fantasy IX, and I don't think you've ever played any of those Final Fantasy games.
No.
They're role-playing games, but I would relate them to a game like Grand Theft Auto. Final Fantasy is like Grand Theft Auto, but with fantasy.
Yep.
And so...
So you're an elf doing whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah. Basically. There's more, it's more story driven, but there are open world ones and things like that. So I played this one. I skipped out on all of them until like 9. Someone introduced me to 9 and I was initially not interested, but then I watched them play and I was like, oh, that looks fun. It looks very neat, first of all, and it was very well made. So I played it, and it was fun. But within that game, there was another game. And so you're a person, and you're walking through this world, and you can interact with other people in this world. But in this world, you could play cards with some people.
Oh, okay.
Not all people, but just some. And there was a card game made for this game. And these little cards had little monsters on them, and you battled each other. And it was very much styled after Pokemon type games.
Oh, wow.
But it was different. And so I liked that concept a lot, and I really took to it. And so I went online, this was in like 2002 or 3, and I started looking for games, TCGs, to trading card games, online trading card games. And they kept coming back to Pokemon, and I was like, I don't want to play Pokemon. I don't want to play Pokemon at all. I want to play something like this other game that I found in Final Fantasy. And it was called Tetramaster, by the way. I think it was. And so I eventually found something like it, and it was just a little game based out of Australia, and I played it for several years until it died. But it was super fun. And I didn't know it at the time, but it was much like Pokemon. And then I didn't have it for a long time in my life. And then I went looking for something like that again, and I found something like that again. And at the same time, they kept directing me to Pokemon. I was like, I don't want to play Pokemon. And so I found this other thing, and it lasted for a couple of years, and then it died too. And both these games were small, independent games based somewhere around the world. And again, while I didn't know it, they were derivative of Pokemon. And so really I did want to play Pokemon. I just didn't know it.
You just didn't know.
Because it actually is better. But part of the reason, what my logic was, that you have to spend money to play Pokemon. Yeah. And that's dumb. I don't want to spend money to play a game really. Or if I do, I want to spend very small increments. And so with the digital ones, it's like, the cards don't really have value, but the people playing the game, they do have value. And this is something in those games at the time, at the height of those different games that I played, those cards could have tremendous dollar value. And that was crazy to me, that something that was not real, people would buy.
Give you money for.
Give me money for. Real money for. Yeah. Absolutely. And while I didn't exploit that at all, it was there. It was a thing. And there was also other opportunities opened up in those different avenues too, because sometimes I would, like one of the games I played before ended up making a whole slew of icons for his little game and got like $400 worth of game credit. It's like,
oh, damn.
Yeah. Because that goes a long way in those little games, man.
Oh, yeah.
And so anyway, then a few years ago I got into baseball cards, selling baseball cards and trading them, doing that stuff just as a hobby. When I was going through some health problems and getting out of that, I was like, well, got some time and some money to throw around. So I did it, and that was great. And that transferred into buying some Pokemon cards and selling those, and then getting the free codes to play that online.
Ah.
Yeah. And it was all good fun. And the little the little symbols, you'll find them around here.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. That's an Espeon.
Ah.
Mm-hmm. It's a very cute
You've
Pokemon.
tagged this place.
Yeah. You'll never know.
There's got to be one on that wall somewhere.
There doesn't have to be.
There most likely is, though.
There's no camera pointing at that wall, so it wouldn't matter.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
So it'd be on this wall.
Yeah.
Oh, right there.
There's one. There's a Charmander. There's also a Tapu Koko.
Yeah. You got an egg on the back.
That egg's not a Pokemon, though.
I don't know about that drink. Drink mix.
Drink
mix?
mix?
Right here. Is that one?
Yeah, that's the Tapu Koko.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's a lesser known Pokemon. More recent, yeah. Everyone knows that the Charmander is, though.
Which one?
The little red guy right there, Charmander.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He's one of the three main ones in the very first start. There was Charmander, Pikachu, and Bulbasaur.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. And Squirtle. Sorry, there's a Squirtle also.
Squirtle?
Squirtle. He squirts the water. Squirtle squirts the water.
Yeah.
Turns into Blastoise. And Charmander evolves into Charmeleon and then Charizard. Let's see.
Oh.
And here's another thing. It's the key thing. Godzilla is a Pokemon.
Godzilla's a Pokemon.
The Japanese people love evolving monsters, and so it's great. I've not actually even seen the entire thing, but the movie, the Shin Godzilla, familiar with Shin Godzilla? It's the most recent Japanese version of Godzilla, and it employs the Pokemon evolution of a little monster coming out of the water and then evolving and turning into a different monster and then evolving and turning into a different monster. That is Godzilla.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it's rad.
That's how it happened.
It's rad. The Japanese love mutating monsters. They just love that.
They do.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is about that, but they love that. Yeah.
And big monsters. Big monsters fighting. Kaiju. They love kaiju.
Oh, yeah,
big monsters fighting, or monsters fighting, or whatever it is. Whatever the kaiju thing means, they love that.
Yep.
They love monsters fighting each other. And
that's where the Rift, or whatever, what is that? They got a couple Americanized movies that have kaijus in them and stuff.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're cool.
Interesting.
And they fight them, but they fight them with giant robots.
Is that Pacific Rim?
Pacific Rim.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I've not seen them, but I know that I know I'm familiar with them.
Yeah.
Somewhat familiar with them, yeah. I, for whatever reason, have a big place in my heart for Godzillas and those kinds of monsters. Of course, I made a comic book that was largely derivative of that whole genre. Yeah, you were in that comic book.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah. So we filled a lot of time there talking about Pokemon. I don't watch much TV, you know that, but I do watch Survivor. and this has been like the greatest season of Survivor ever. I've not watched every season of Survivor, and mostly like I had a love-hate thing with it. Like I watched the first season partially begrudgingly. This guy tried to introduce us to it when it first started, and he loved the show, and like I think it debuted after a Super Bowl or something. The first show, I don't remember, but
I think so.
This guy tried to get us into it, and I was kind of interested in it because the concept was cool, but I just didn't gravitate to it right away. But I did watch a few episodes of it that season, and then years later, I ended up being a roommate with that same fella, and he watched it. It was like, so it was going to be watched. And it was pretty good, actually. I think I came in at a good time, at a good season, and they ended up, I guess, doing a format where they do 2 seasons a year. So they're into like their 37th season at this point. They've been going nearly 20 years, and they used to go all around the world, but they have started to just focus on this place in Fiji where they can do it the show for cheap, which they don't have quite the giant ratings that they used to get, but they still get consistently high ratings. Like for a show that's been on for 20 years, it's going to have to get some decent ratings, or it's gonna, and people can be very dismissive of it because it's reality TV, but that's putting an application on it that is kind of dumb, because it's just a game show, and you don't call Jeopardy reality TV, and that's what this is it's a game show. It's just a long game show, and it's a different format, and like, we're talking about the Japanese liking monsters, they also like weird formatted game shows. So this is in that vein of, because Japanese have very extreme game shows that has been parodied on The Simpsons. It's like
weird ones. Yeah.
So Survivor is kind of in that vein. It's a watered down version of that. That it is, not that it's not got its difficulties, and it's got its whole lore and its different rules of the game, and so it's got some flaws inherently, because it's a game designed for, I don't know, it's a game designed for a person to win. That's just the bottom line. It's not designed for any kind of person to win, but the most fit, able, strongest people rarely ever get to the end. It's because it's mostly people that aren't quite as good conspiring against these people who are really good. They're like, fuck, that guy's really good. That guy, look, he's so handsome, and and he's so strong, and he can win all these challenges, and he's so charismatic, and everyone loves him. Fuck that guy, he's got to go.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of that, but there's much more to it than that. That is just a flaw within the game. But all that aside, I've been watching it, and this has been one of the best seasons that they've had. Because I guess I started watching it at least 5 years ago now. So I've been watching it, studied for the last 10 seasons.
Yep.
And not all those seasons have been that great. And some of them, 1 or 2 just deteriorated into, I don't even want to watch this. So it is just kind of people being nasty. Right. And I really found out really quickly, it's not the kind of show I want to watch. I want to watch... and that's another thing, like the game changed drastically when a person who came in and decided, I'm just going to be a fucking dick.
Oh, I know. Yeah. I saw it enough to see that. Oh yeah, there was a lot of diabolical stuff going on.
Yeah. This one particular character, he was just, he did stuff like dumped out everyone's water in the middle of the night, just dumped out their water ration, dumped it out. Got rid of their food, did things like that to fuck with them mentally. He's like, I can handle it.
Uh-huh.
He's like, not only can I handle it, I did it, so fuck them. And he just played them against each other, and then he caught a couple girls and he manipulated them to work with him on not 1 but 2 different seasons, and he ended up getting all the way to the end with these girls that he was kind of manipulating as puppets, but lost both times. Wow. I'm pretty sure that's how it went. I think it happened to him twice in the same way. He did the same thing. He employed the same strategy, got to the end, and didn't win. And then he even came back a 3rd season, but he didn't make it to the end of the 3rd season. Yeah. They're like, no, dude, I've seen enough of you.
Yeah.
He even just recently went and played in Australia. This guy, his name's Russell Hance. He's notorious. He's a douche. Like he makes a living out of being a douche now. Like I feel like it just feels like that he just plays off of that persona that he's created. But he's, I mean, it's just some of it's surely a character and some of it's surely genuine. And he's the kind of guy that we've known growing up throughout time.
Probably
like,
quite a few.
I'm not trying to cut it short, but you got to go soon. So we're going to go into some more songs and then come back and wrap things up so that you're not tied up.
Awesome.
Cool.
What we listen to now?
Oh, you're putting me on the spot.
Yeah, I am.
Damn it, Chris.
Do you got your glasses on?
No.
Oh, shit.
I'm just going to play a song by this band called Skangst.
All right.
Because it's here.
If you see my shoes, they're sitting there. You need something for your feet to wear. I advise you strongly not to wear mine. It might persuade you to walk a thin line. Bad luck and sorrow, I blame it all on my shoes. You will walk into tomorrow without a single clue. I know it's cold, it's a long walk home, but if you wear my shoes, you'll be cursed to the bone. Does no good to throw them away. They're on my feet by the very next day. Bad luck and sorrow, I'll blame it all on my shoes. You will walk into tomorrow without a single clue. I know it's cold, it's a long walk home, but if you wear my shoes, you'll be cursed to the bone. It does no good to throw them away. They're on my feet by the very next day. Bad luck and sorrow, I blame it all on my shoes. You will walk into tomorrow without a single clue. Yeah, bad luck and sorrow, I blame it all on my shoes. You will walk into tomorrow more than you know. I'm just hoping that you'll say we can find. I've been waiting for so long.
Bad timing, how it always seems to be. Sitting here lying, to myself won't change a thing. I've got bad timing, and time is bad with me. I always knew, just thought that I wouldn't care. Don't think ahead, thought that I could keep you there. I've got bad timing, but twice just isn't fair. It's bad timing. I wish that I could see things through. And I've been trying, but you keep telling me the truth. I've got bad timing, only when it comes to you.
back. That was These Are Horses.
Yes, yes, yes. Very cool tunes.
Mm-hmm. I don't really have anything to say, Chris.
I know. We're having deep off-the-air conversations that kind of just leave us in a world of awe.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the world. The world's a funny place. Funny, scary, all at the same time.
Yeah. It's fascinating.
Indeed. Indeed it is.
I try not to, scared. Don't be scared. It's crazy, and, not everyone lives through it.
Oh,
And eventually none of us do. So that's
nobody
it.
ever.
So
Yeah.
it's experiencing what we can while we can in a positive way, I think, is the best way to go about it. Not that we're trying to give any philosophical life advice here on the show.
Oh yeah, we're the worst people for that.
It's the end of the show, and so there most people probably aren't listening that intently anyway. We'll just assume that.
Yeah. So that's where we're going to be putting Easter eggs in,
That's right.
where you can win jewels and
Well,
pirate treasure.
I'll tell you, in a show like that I've got, so I don't look at it as while I don't put no thought into it, I put less thought into what we're going to talk about than I do into the songs.
Mm-hmm.
And but I also try not to be too I like to just have a really broad spectrum of songs all throughout the show.
Indeed.
And at the end of the show there's usually more songs. Like that's the way that the format's just been from the beginning, is that the last half of the last section of the show is like twice as long of songs. And I'm not burying songs in that last segment, and in fact I'll often put really, really good songs in that segment because I want people to listen to the show to the end.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like that's the whole point. And the whole point is that for these songs to be played and heard by people who might not have ever heard them, or people who have heard them but don't have recordings of them, or any number of things. And it's specifically geared towards our community, but it could have some kind of, to someone outside of it could go, oh, there's a lot of good music that comes from there. Never really would have considered it. Because in a certain sense, I don't necessarily consider it until it's all right there. And it's like on shuffle on my iTunes. It's like, wow. And it's like a radio station all by itself. I think that it's neat. It would be, if it was just a radio station, then it wouldn't necessarily get so repetitious, because then the catalog would be much more diverse.
Giant.
Because if you could get into the jazz and the classical music and the other stuff that has been produced from here in Tacoma. Polka, there's got to be. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think you're really looking hard enough, but and maybe we just need to just reach out more, because we'll definitely play a polka band, and we'll play. I also want to point out that we do want to play better recordings. I might slip that song in we were talking about earlier, but I might not. Depends on how the quality is. We're trying to have it just depends on how it translates. The audio quality translates, and some of our songs they're not the best quality, but they're all the only thing that we have of those representation. So
we encourage quality recordings, or at least taking that step, the extra step, because
it's worth it. It's not just for us to play your song, but for other people to be able to hear it and to preserve that. And sometimes your band doesn't necessarily have a lot of outlets, and that recording is an outlet that you will never consider where it could get to.
It could be your mark in history, and you don't even realize it yet.
Yep, could be one of those things. The Smithsonian comes along and wants to catalog and put in their Museum of Americana.
Yep,
they'll do it.
They will.
They'll come put a microphone in front of you and say, "We really want to get that song."
Yep. Put you on the spot, make you do it.
Saw that in a movie once.
Oh, what movie's that?
I don't remember.
You'll have to tell me about it when you do.
It was probably a musical biography kind of movie.
Okay.
You know, about someone.
I've seen a lot of those, so it's kind of hard to pinpoint exactly which.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
We haven't talked about movies for a while. Seen any good movies in the last week or two?
I just went and saw The Nutcracker.
Is that right?
I went and saw that yesterday, actually. And it's the new one. And it's very kind of almost, I would say, Alice in Wonderland-y.
Uh-huh.
And it was cool. The effects were really super cool. The concept of it was cool. There's twists and turns in it that are pretty badass.
Sweet.
Oh, yeah. I liked it.
I don't know too much about it other than I was aware of it.
Yep.
And so is an adaptation of the Nutcracker, or is a completely different, fanciful, different thing in the realm of the
It doesn't go by the Nutcracker story.
Okay.
It's a totally different thing.
Yeah.
But it's cool.
But well, because it sounds like what they want to do with it, at least in what little I know of it, is they want to probably make a franchise out of it and make an expanded.
Well, they could.
Yeah.
They could, because
probably
it's definitely not 100%, like that. So it's cool.
Because what is it? Realms?
Yeah. There's 4 realms.
Well, did they go to all 4 realms?
Yep.
Oh, they went to all 4?
Well, you can see all 4 realms from the center.
Oh.
Go up to this castle and stuff. You can actually look and see every single realm. Right
Sounds
there.
like Oz, actually.
Kind of. Yeah. It's like an Oz thing, but the each realm is like their own Oz.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Have I don't know how deep you ever maybe got into the Wizard of Oz, but there's a lot of books in the Wizard of Oz series. A whole lot of them.
I didn't know. I thought there was just one.
Oh my goodness. So the guy wrote the Wizard of Oz, and it was huge, and he ended up writing a book every year for the rest of his life about the Wizard of Oz. Pretty much, I'm pretty sure that's true. So there's like 26 books in that series that are written by him, and then there's another 20 or so, or some, I'm not exactly sure how many, that were written by a lady afterwards, I believe. And it's expansive universe, and it's largely nonsense, and sometimes things contradict themselves, but it's and I've not read them all by any means, but it's great and nutty. And I mean, there's some things that we were very familiar with because of the movie that aren't quite like it in the book. I mean, there were silver slippers, I think, in the book. They're not ruby slippers. And just stuff like that. But yeah, man, there's tons and tons and tons of them. At one point, he tried to stop making them, but there was just an outcry, because this was in like 1910, 20, in that range when he was making these. And
so they didn't have TV. They didn't have
and that kind of serialized novel thing was very popular also, and it's also the kind of thing that you could do on radio. So there's probably a lot of radio adaptations of stuff like that. And that's all. Both of those are neat. I like that whole genre of literature, fantasy and the nonsense kind of stuff. I think it's really fun. I've not explored it as much as I should, but with anything, how much time can we spend in life doing everything we want to do?
Oh no.
But I do try to delve into it a lot, and again, check just like Wikipedia and explore some of the stuff of Frank L. Baum, the guy who wrote Wizard of Oz, and his whole life leading up to it and creating that. And like, he was trying to make movies, like he was trying to make a Wizard of Oz movie himself, when movies were very like in the black and white, like silent era. Like, so that's neat. It didn't really go over, but it's all just all the different stories attached to it are fascinating, and his success with it and the different stories are just really neat. And he had a really good connection with people, his fan base and everything. It was far out. And there's just tons of stories with all the characters, and they don't all follow the same characters. Some of them have Dorothy in them and the other characters, and some of them have completely different characters, and they're in different worlds, because there's Oz, which is at the center, and then there's the Munchkin Land and these other different places. Completely different realms, and I can picture them, but I can't. I don't remember what they're called. I remember something about the Gnome King, and there's the Patchwork Girl, and TikTok. Some crazy characters and crazy things. Magic dust that brings things to life and makes them alive.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
pixie dust, like
something. And audiobooks, so you can find these things. At least I think that a lot of these may be in the public domain, and I'm not sure about that either. But there's audiobooks and stuff like that. You can just listen to these things. So I stuck some on a few years ago and just listened to like 4 of these, 5 of these in a row, and that's great. They're great entertainment.
Right on.
Yep. There we go. Filled up all the time, Chris.
All right.
We will take the show out. If you're still listening, we appreciate you. And you can like our YouTube channel if you appreciate that kind of stuff, if you have the time and you feel like it. And you can turn other people onto it, because people like songs that they like. And maybe there's a song on here that you think someone likes, and you're like, you should hear this song, or you should hear this show, because there's songs that and that's give the gift of music. It's the season of giving. Give the gift of music. Share your music with your friends. It's free, and they love that. They love it. All right, thanks.
All right.
Goodbye. Let's not forget to take the files off the thing.
Yes.
Come down, boy, if you've a taste for cold steel.
Cold steel.
Yeah. Cold steel. That's right. Era. Oh, shit. Come on. Yeah, let's do it. How in these streets. You know what we pack? Hey, yo. You know the J stay spittin' that cold steel edition. Stay packing, never lacking ammunition to the beat. RA crew, know how we do. Never leave home without it. Exhaling while the barrel sounded. I seen a flash, then some smoke, heard somebody choke. Felt the kickback, vibrating low, then recocked it slow. I got the skills, shoot to kill and do shit for the thrill, but never pistol play or pull it out to prove the fools I'm real. I roll and registered and scratched off the serial, concealed for anybody trying to bite my new material. Believe me, precise aim for me is that easy. Plus I customize my weapons, blowing lessons my profession. You can catch 2 in the back, cause man, it's nasty like that. I see you ducking and dodging, but Holmes, I'm laughing at that. Cause man, ain't Nathan you could do to stop this. Pack a vest for your chest, I'm holding. Nothing less than 12 sets of that. West, northwest, in fact, never should've messed with that. The 253, I'm dwelling with the all underground MCs we squeezing. That's right, no game. Hey. Hey, triple thick blunt on my lap at all times. CDs of instrumentals, wanna roll? We can rhyme, how we do it every time. Pack a rhyme by the waistline. Shit rips like a 50 cal. Don't make me pull the pin out on this baseline. Blow up the whole spot, man, put your shit on blast. They wanna know who set it up, that's when I pull off the mask. At the range with that heavy artillery. Jay spit an extra clip and unload on any hoe that still ain't feeling me. Suckers killing me softly with those raps you wrote to stop me. Doing way too much with all them secret words and walkie-talkies, homie. Please, I'm laughing at that. I stay off safety with that steal my shine deterrent for detergents trying to fake me. She makes me feel like the man. Off in my hand, no, it'll shut your ass up and make them listen like I plan. For the fans, I stay handling the pack a vest for your chest, we got that. Nothing less than 12 sets of that. West, northwest, in fact, never should've messed with that. 253, all holding. All underground MCs, we squeezing. Yeah, no gangs, no teasing.
Cold steel.
Think I waste my time caring about your life. Now I got more important things in my sight. You put your British just in time to try and make this right. Why waste my fucking time? Your life's
Bushwhacked, tallywhacked, Cadillac, take it back. Now I'm here, and this is where I'll stay. No more inside out, outside in, just looking in. Bushwhacked, tallywhacked, Cadillac, take me back home. Take me back home. One, to see, two, to open wide. No more inside out, outside in, just looking in. Bushwhacked, tallywhacked, Cadillac, take it back home. Take me back home.
Wanna come and have a dance? Here to stay, built to play. Well, let me kiss you just once, somewhere. Wanna come and have a fight? Here tonight, yet despite. Well, let me kiss you just once, somewhere. Wanna come and take it slow, lock and load, rock and roll. Well, let me kiss you just once, somewhere. Wanna come and have a fight here tonight, yet in spite. Well, let me kiss you just once, somewhere. Wanna come and have a dance? Here to stay, built to play. Well, let me kiss you just once, somewhere. Wanna come and have a fight? Here tonight, yet despite. Well, let me kiss you just once, somewhere.
Dead bodies shucked away on life insurance dossiers. Veered left past the scene under the bridge and into the following lot. Sat frigid under Memorial Pagoda, feeling Enigma's cock 45. Flushing fluids through endocrine branches, keep overflow churning. Then while stomachs curling, solutions, spit shine stains, China steps, buff out finished decision. Nothing was going to be okay. Biology demands, call the dealer. Wake up the next morning, pissed green and pop blues. Praising the Most High. Echo of steel hinges closing the shower door, sting eardrums swole. I wince, rinse, and repeat until through. Shed skin steps out in a light, pale, cold soul, widens for splinter injury. Take a shit. Motor function directs wiping with the left, now stand up. Avoiding the mirror leak and smack some sense with lotion to the face with the right. Tugboat, tugboat, Pornhub saved. Tugboat, tugboat, spilt cum all on the ground. I don't look in the mirror. Rattled bones through barred windows came crashing in the door. Once trapped in steel cage, get eager for flint strikes. As gases combust atop pistons, building pressure, gases combust atop my lips without any pleasure. Inhale, mirror check, 4 cylinders whir along potholed pavement. Stay shook, kept doors lock, always expecting invasion. Feel stateless in city borders. Stasis is what I make runs for. Hopes for baseline, yet sometimes I enjoy fallouts as an aggressor. Green light, red light, anticipated arrival. They know I'm coming, but I wish they would. And in the same amount of time it takes to get sick, before I realize I'm really sick, I'm at the front door, no answer to a call for lost souls. Fawn face peers through glass lens. Joe, go down the street, wait 20 minutes, and then waste another hour? We had an appointment. The block is hot, don't you get that? You can't talk to me like that, you piece of shit. Remember now, I'm the one providing services here. In and out, I'ma be in and out. Cash in hand, won't be staying long. We've still gotta count it. Look, some customers left needles in the neighbor's lawn. Kids were stepping all on them, so they came over here with arms, screaming over the number of people coming through. Final statement greeted with the same wince bellowed in shower. Jillian was always this way. We've been friends since primary school, but it doesn't really mean much when you've got to maintain an addiction. Really, a sad story. That is Jillian. See, her mother Jan was once a dope fiend, as was her father. As a band together, couple wreaking havoc everywhere they go, many car stereos and cross-country escape routes later, Jan ends up knocked up somewhere in Alaska where it was once thought cold frost could be an effective contraceptive. She was once the essence of local hometown beauty, but now grated thin, nothing more than a sag of once fresh skin. For most of the time I've known her, she vowed to never commit her parents' sins, and then something like her father leaving, getting a replacement kid kind of tore her apart, and vows of sin became once more. A couple months ago, we both laid up in bed, and she stopped, wanting to talk about Mommy. Said that her ultimatum for using was that if her mom did again, she would too. To prove some kind of point. What's some way to prove a point? Destroy the point itself. She gets Mom's needles and Mom holds her hair back whenever she's unloading towards the toilet. Really a charming relationship. Great parenting. Drove round miles aimlessly, checked peace for time, no time for peace, swallowed whole by shirt spit out, glistened, soak of sweat. Think of me, please, think of me. Hours later, found way back to front door, knocking. Jillian's house is always a mess. Stainmaster, mosaic, painted cat piss, and kitchen counters hold tinfoil shrubbery. The only sigh of relief here is knowing product isn't in plain view. Even with the blinds closed, they leave no reason for parties in search of diabetics here. I always wear my steel toes here anyway. $900 buys 30 pressed, 15M every time with no room for negotiation, at least not while sick. Cats scamper by, in then out of the back room till slab of wood slams, leaving one empty with uncertainty, contemplating the healthy, bioavailable route. 90 milligrams administered orally, dissolved in orange juice to increase enzymatic expression of CYP2D6 creates a greater first-pass metabolization, resulting in a bioavailability of 70%, yielding 63 milligrams dispersed. Taken with diphenhydramine turns 63 into 75. If there were a concern for health, this would be the best route. Instead, fantasize of the snack, crackle, pop of green chunks breaking under index-sized cardstock supermarket advertisements. Reduced cloud, a filler dust sandwiched between faux leather, card ash, and a Discover credit card. Ritual of sifting neat piles on top of naked lunch as if consumption were about to mean so much more. Intranasal bioavailability of 80%, yielding 80 milligrams. Snorted with water, take the come up from 8 to 3 minutes. Come up calm enough for the ride home. Cash leaves hand for the equivalent exchange of illegal narcotics. Notice how they don't seem too dangerous when affectionately packaged in an origami arrangement of green Post-its. In the middle of the parcel is a heart bulging from the presses inside. Before I go, I ask for another line of credit. Ask again and we'll stop selling. She can barely look at me. Always done her best to abhor us. Once in the car, method of consumption already chose, fingers guided, find their way along a track as if cut lines were a runway, and when I've taken off, tilt head back and touch St. Peter for his protection on the roadways. Check face color and rear view mirror. Check nasal cavity for anything coming out blue. Bones quiet down as shoulders slouch. Dick shrivels in and sparse breaths escape out. Check to Google Maps. The bowl is 0.04 miles away. Now it's time to drive the car. Takes 6 minutes going down the road, passing a library, Applebee's, thinking about all the dope I've had from Jillian's oven baked into stuffed cheese pizzas. When I first started making the runs for the bowl, I used to have to call. Since stopped that, now I blast Thrill Kill Cult functioning as our sort of signal, my personal intercom. Break through gravel and slow roll to grinding halt entrance procedures somewhat like this. 1. Stare into cell phone until acknowledged. 2. See through plexiglass inside, look for garage lights stifling on. 3. Key off ignition, vehicle tremors as belts roll down. 4. Big green panels lift, all smiles. Took you long enough. If it were too short, there'd be reason for worry. Get in, we'll split it up. From upstairs window, cold stare from family questions what we're doing. DeWalt tools thrown cross bench, still pile neat enough for no warrant of offense, as an aluminum plate is smacked onto wood and the day's score is strewn about. Divvied up, I get 13, although after some reason being I do all the dirty work, I snatch 17.
You know, all you do is fuck me over with these games.
If only he knew all I risk for him.
Supposed to be getting me deals, I should cut you off.
Good luck with that. Maybe now's a good time to run away.
Have you tried to sleep with her yet?
No, I haven't. I don't really want to. She's just a skagged out whore. Go and get yours. Become a man. You've been a little bitch lately. She's diseased. Her flesh is rotting. I've tried once before and she didn't want it. You made me look like a fucking idiot. Be thankful I gave you that kind of life lesson. This is all a part of manhood. Just nod along, separate nod from the Watsons weighing heavy. Just have to accept defeat again. No valid reason to fiend for any leeway never coming my way. We were supposed to be working, building cargo doors with stencils and ABS. Instead, the bull got smacked. Face all red, breathe real slow, stone cold tears filling eyes. Stops me every 5 minutes wanting to talk about business plans gone bust and his father's neglection. Drove home around 2 a.m. Sleep comes as a projection of hollowed body flashing through floor. I wake up under a desk in the kitchen. My mind? Dishwasher of the universe. A Maytag or Kenmore. When cycle has come full circle, it's always spotless. Dishes lie between loading slots constructed of white enameled wire awaiting evisceration. Whether it's in a box or a can, convenience is usually the hardest to find. Dreams are coming night after night until I'm cursing at circumstance of obtention or death. After a while, dreams begin to feel manufactured. Synapses wafting like twisted polyester threads going along with whatever is thrown into mind. Furthering paranoid assumptions of stratagems of which could be mine. I'm fully convinced the script of my life is leaked to me through dreams. Baseless suspicion gains spiritual validation once overwhelming feelings of deja vu bubble over in everyday life. Soon, the softly projected silhouettes of kitchen appliances and IKEA furnishings shift along the linoleum floor, growing ever more sinister until they finally reach me. An infestation of the third mind. Bone marrow vibrates, I feel warm rays, UV tentacles take hold. Through every convulsion, slathered sweat become jar of jelly roll about fetal position, taking out table legs, banging on skin drums, heartbeats, heartaches for more, please think of me, think of me! Muscle tissues bruise easier to colors which best convey the most pertinent emotion. Slapping, tired, angry, desperate streaks. Gray, red, blue, white, all over the walls. They converge in a mass of swelling pokes out. Wood prongs, mahogany. Ned gray matter clean of yesterday's memos. Could be the shadows of tomorrow.